Welcome to Grover Load. I'm Anthony, and I want to talk a little bit about this LastPass security update. LastPass came out earlier this month with their assessment of the security incident last year, and so let's just jump over and take a look at this. Now, I used to use LastPass before they were bought out, and while it was a good product before they were bought out, I had switched over to Bitwarden, which I think is a pretty good product. It is open source. If you want, you can go take a look and check them out as well. But LastPass CEO has came out. Yeah, it was by their CEO, and they're giving you assessment of the security incident. One thing is, when LastPass was bought out, I've was using their parent company for some things, and they keep changing things. I don't think that they're the best company that they put forward. So in doing so, I moved everything out of there because I didn't want to run into incidents that I kind of was expecting to happen, which was, security incidents among other things with pricing, etc. Now, just focusing on these issues about the security incident, right? They disclosed them on December 22nd, and they were investigating and have not seen any threat actors actively since October 26, 2022. So, end of last year. Now, there's two separate incidents here, and as we get into them, it's kind of interesting of how they're doing it. Not only was one of these incidents, incident one was a software engineer corporate laptop that was compromised, um, and they gained access to the cloud-based development environment to steal source code, which is a bad deal. No, and they said no customer data of the vault was taken during this incident. There's no customer or vault data in the development environment. So we declare this incident closed. It's still, depending upon how the code is and what they were able to get from that, um, there still could be an instance where they can piggyback on something, or they're looking for a loophole in that so that there is access. Hopefully, there are certain checks in there. As a software developer, you're always trying to make code more hardened. There's no such thing as secure software. Even if you have security software, you're running security software, right? It's another layer of software on there on a OS that has another access point into that device. It is what it is. um, you hear some people just put security software on there, it'll fix everything. I wish that was the case. That's why you need multiple levels of security. While you still want to make sure a developer can use their laptop effectively, I think that that's a key to help them to get the work done. And there are, I think, also trainings you can do and information you can send out so that people are aware of different tactics things are. You also have to be hardening at a network level. VPNs need to be hardened. You need to be siphoning off that traffic where need be, and all that fun stuff. I look at my network on a weekly basis for review of different attacks that do happen on my personal network, and it's just a constant bombardment, right? There's always actors out there trying to do and get into this, and they're very things like this that happen and pop up. It's very interesting to see how that were happening. Hopefully steps are taken to not allow this or to minimize it later on, because there are different responses. So their response in this first incident was mobilizing their internal security team and resources, and they're trying to eradicate and recovery process of this. So they removed the development environment and rebuilt to a new one to ensure full contamination. Deployed additional security technologies to control, supplement existing controls, and rotated all relative clear text secrets used by our teams to expose any certificates. Well, that's fine. I really hope that they, depending upon what it is, they were able to wipe the system. Now, we got newer laptops coming out all the time, and depending upon what they have, there is now certain pieces of software that can be put into the booting sequence, be hidden from your booting steps, and be then insert in that code during the boot times or reinstall process or wherever else. And this is going to be something Windows was activating. Oh man, I am not being able to speak. Advocating for. um, and so that process of advocating for to having BIOS be able to install or notify, say, hey, you can get this software from like a Windows Store or whatever else. Guess what? That's going to facilitate, right? Another access point for people to go through and put software in that's going to be damaging, right? Or can be damaging, and that's the downside to this as we take a look. So now the second one was a threat actor targeted a senior DevOps engineer by exploiting vulnerable third-party software. This threat actor leveraged the vulnerability delivery of malware by bypassing existing controls and ultimately getting unauthorized cloud access to the cloud backups. Data accessed by these backups includes system configuration data, API secrets, third-party integration secrets, encrypted and unencrypted LastPass customer data. This is actually a pretty big deal. I'm wondering, was this also on a, as it said up here, a corporate laptop, or was this a bring your own device? Now, while bring your own device has some downsides, if it's corporate laptop, that's maybe a bigger problem. Now, you can do some security things on bring your own devices to help minimize that. One thing I don't understand, if this was bring your own device, is why aren't we working in a, let's say we do VPNs and then work on a local system inside the data center. While you still can have different access things, you can block a lot of different stuff on a remote desktop. Let's say it's a bring your own device, you can't copy paste into that remote or anything else. There are security measures for that. But how did this fail in there? They left it pretty vague in that, which is which is very suspicious. In response to this incident, we again mobilized our incident team as part of our ongoing strategic eradication of events. They analyzed LastPass cloud-based storage resource and applied additional policies and controls, analyzed and changed the privileged access controls, and rotated relevant secrets and certificates for this. So yeah, there's a lot of data access here. I know that I've done other videos on Spectre Meltdown, different CPU type stuff, hardware type stuff. Now software. The reason why I'm kind of interested in this one, I used to use it way back when. I've been on Bitwarden for many years, but deleted my account, removed all that from LastPass because I didn't want to have something else sitting around there, even though all my passwords get rotated once a year. I change, I go through, I spend a day. Yeah, it's a day, whatever. It's a lot of passwords. My wife's hers all get all changed, everything. I'll take care of that, right? Because I want to be trying to get in a habit of that, and well, we share accounts and stuff like that. So I'm just taking care of everything. I manage the tech side of stuff. She's not, as much as I'm into tech, she is not into tech. Complete opposite. So, I take care of that stuff. But when we looked at this, it's just something to remember. That's one reason why I moved off is pricing, everything else, and what else is going to come from this. I didn't have the best success with their parent company at the time, so that's why I moved on. And this is a decision I think that people are going to have to make for themselves: is want to stick with this or go with a different competitor to LastPass. Now, there's some people out there that were asking, so how do I move stuff over? There is a lot of these password managers do allow for the import and exporting of your passwords if you so choose to. And that process, back when I did it, it was pretty seamless. I know I've helped out other people with it. I've migrated others, and it wasn't too bad. But something to remember when you do these and you see these incidents, start taking steps to, if you're still going to use LastPass, they they said, you know, summary data access and some of these security problems. But me, I'd be starting to go through, you know, master passwords, making sure they're changed, making sure, you know, and just rotating through all the passwords that you have and updating them to a newer password, so that you don't, so you can minimize your risk as well after this. I mean, even if you were going to move to a different password manager, I would be um, changing everything because you don't know what is all out there, right? This is what LastPass has found. What else is out there? The problem is that, as with software, you only know what you found so far. You don't know what else is out there that needs to be fixed or needs to be corrected, right? That's also with security. And these are things that you just have to take into account. So, what can you expect from us going forward? I thought that I read through this earlier. What actions should you take to protect yourself? So, um, to better assist our customers with their own incident response efforts, we prepared two security bulletins, one for our free premium and family consumers users, and one tailored to business teams and users. So if you are one of their free customers, premium and families, through a review of important LastPass settings designed to help you secure their accounts by confirming best practices be followed. And so that was that security bulletin. Let's see. Recommended for business users, admins. I bet you they're going to be here. Let's take a look here. Let's see what this is doing. Come on. So, is your again, wow. Is your master password strong and unique? Yes, unsure, no. So they have their topics here. I will post these. You know, they say optional is to reset your master password. The longer the better. You know, uh, yeah, I think that there's controls there. Depending upon how advanced your network is, you know, also take a look at that. Depending upon what you know about your computers, take a look at your computers to review all that. Turn on dark web monitoring. They have all these. Let's take a look at the security bulletin for businesses. Let's see what they got here. Um, yeah, master password stuff, security reports, reset selected master passwords. I mean, the last thing you want as a business is that between an incident like this, your a master password is now compromised and somebody's getting into your corporate network that way. That's a not thing. But again, if you limit your access to the outside, make sure that you're on the VPN and stuff, you can help mitigate some of this. You know, I have a work laptop. There's no for me personally, I do not do any personal stuff on there. One, they have a data policy that I don't agree with for my personal data, so that's not going to be on there, right? I have personal computers to take care of that, a personal phone. You know, for my business, for if I was going to put work on my phone, right? They have a data policy where they want to monitor that phone, right? I don't want them to be able to monitor my own data, so there's a split there. I don't have them on my phone for that reason. That's why I don't put my personal stuff on their laptop, right? There is a split. There is that, and that's a practice that you can have if you have a corporate laptop, um, or a corporate device that allows you to split that. Now, let's say you don't and it's bring your own device. Well, the corporation, I think, needs to make sure that there's different policies set for how you connect in. There is um, different remote scenarios for doing your work on, let's say, a VM inside the data center, and there's I've used multiple different scenarios to make sure it can go in and data is secure. Um, there are ways to really secure it. They're not always the, you know, if you're doing like on a corporate device, right? You might want to copy paste into the remote desktop in there. But if it's a personal, bring your own device, there's no need for that. They can do all the work on that local instance, and you can start to mitigate this. But these are just some ideas. Post your ideas below of what you would like to see from this. I'll post these links from LastPass, and let me know what you guys are thinking about in this. What type of scenarios or different things that you'd like to see come out of this, or what steps you hope that LastPass is taking. They were pretty vague on that second incident. I'd like to know a little bit more about that, but for me, there's a lot of different ways to do it, and to help increase the security here. And this is not the first time this has happened with LastPass, and so I'm not saying any password manager is going to be perfect. Any piece of software is going to be perfect, but that's a decision you're going to have to make going forward. And if you're looking for something else, do your research on it and make the switch, right? And if you're a company doing that too, right, that can be a task for a company to migrate over. But then again, it is passwords, and that's pretty an important thing for a company. And making that migration might just be a better time sink than having to deal with incidents. Let's say you, because they said 2 incidents here, right? Let's say so multiple times a year. Let's say you run into that with they notified everybody. What was it? October to December, so a few months after that happened. What happens if your company is um, has a problem because of a password manager leak in that time? That's not a good thing either. So um, with that, I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you for taking the time to help support Grow Lover and helping this channel grow. I really appreciate it. Sorry for about the uploads here the last week or so. I got ahead. I was doing really well, and then came down with something that took me out for a few days. But hopefully, I can get back on a good cadence here and get everything out and get some more videos out. I got a lot to review. That dock, that Corsair dock, the TBT 200, that thing is really nice. I have to say they did a really nice job on that. So yeah, hopefully I can do that. I had a problem with my desk motor, so I might have a little update on that for my sit to stand desk. I've been standing for like a year now. All of a sudden something broke. So keep in the comments below, but there's a little update on the channel as well. Until next time, I want to say thank you for watching, subscribing, liking, hitting the bell icon, all that fun stuff, and God bless.